Medical alert. How may I help you?
I've fallen, and I can't get up.
Informant reports toxic chemicals are stored in tanker. Use caution. 151, this is Rampart. Can you send me some EKG? 10-4, transmitting.
So we're on our way to the studio today, and we pull up outside. It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon here in Long Island, if you're in the Long Island area. Springtime is around the corner. Mulaney's doing garden work at the compound. And we pull up, and we're having a nice discussion about women as we walk in the door. And when you come into the CSB studios, you have to take an elevator to go to the second floor. So we head to the elevator, and all of a sudden, John hears the following.
Help! Help! Help us! Help us!
So I didn't know what was going on because I'm next to John. And usually I'm, like, very leery about those situations of getting involved. But we both stopped to see what was going on.
Oh, my first thought was, I was like, oh, this can't be happening to us, man.
Now, what we came upon was a black family. It had to be a mother, a grandmother, and I guess like a granddaughter or a niece or something.
You can never tell.
Now, I don't know what happened. Explain to them a little bit.
Her chair collapsed. She had one of those opening chairs, like the chair opened up like a regular folding chair.
Now, the grandmother we're talking about was sitting in this
and obviously
chair.
The folding chair wasn't opened up when she planted her 300-pound keister in it.
She was not 300 pounds.
Dude, I picked her up. She was 250.
She was not 250. Don't exaggerate. Don't exaggerate.
Maybe 200.
So all of a sudden we get over the seat and there's this woman lying on the floor crying because now she's scared because she's laying on the floor and the woman can't get her up.
That old lady wasn't getting up on her own, man.
And the little kid is crying. John and I now arrive on the scene, and now we have to pick her up. So John, who's like a genius in this situation, because as we all know, John's various medical ailments, he's collapsed all over the place as well. So he knows the way to get up. John's devising a plan, a formula to get this woman up off the floor.
I didn't think she could walk, man. I'm like, oh, she's wheelchair bound. Here we go. We got a cripple on our hands.
And John's sitting there trying to get a whole medical history. So now you got to picture this. We're in this corner, off the elevators. The daughter's yelling for help. The woman's lying on the floor crying. The little kid is crying. And the security guard's just running away in the other direction.
He was standing there watching like this was some skit on F Troop. You know, he's standing there just looking at this lady on the floor, hobbled. And he's like, oh, I'm not moving for this. It's just, I'm going to watch it.
And the woman's yelling for help. That's the best part. She's asking for our help, so at Velocity Live, the Velocity Live ambulance service springs into action. John and myself head over there, and John devises a plan now to get this woman up. But what I found most...
I got a free feel out of it.
Oh, come on, John, it was an old lady!
It wasn't like I was fishing for it,
With
man.
the breast firm or what?
Dude, man, they were huge.
With both the shoulder holders.
You know, I mean, I had to literally grab her under her armpits, man.
And I had to hold her hand to get her up, and then she leaned on me. And then we finally was able to get the chair upright and up against the wall. And John is great because John's sitting there getting her whole medical history. Now, can you walk on your own, dear?
Well, you got to know that stuff. I don't want to be sued for freaking picking up some lady who's got a broken spine.
I know, you worry about touching somebody in the street and just, you know, you're worried that something's going to happen. But John's like getting a full medical history. He's like, oh, all right, dear. You all right? Can you ambulatory? Can you move? Can you do
When's the last time you had a potty movement, man?
So we get her up. And now she leans on me, and we finally get her in the chair. So she sits down in the chair. She's crying. She's very happy. She's blessing us. She's saying God's going to bless us.
If we hadn't walked in, she'd probably still be laying on that floor.
I have no doubt that security guard was not going to help her at all.
He was going for a coffee break, man. She was going to stay there. He was going to go downstairs, play around in the food shop down in the court down there.
Which is never open, according to John. We have a restaurant here in the building which is never open, according to John. Every time we come into tape, it's closed. I think they just don't like you downstairs.
What the hell is this guy doing, man? I mean, at least, you know, if you can't pick her up, how hard is it to dial 911?
And, you know, how long was she laying there? Because when we walked in, I didn't know what was going on. You know what was funny? We walk up on the seat, and I thought, like, the woman was sitting in a chair like I'm sitting in, like an office chair, and she collapsed.
That's what I thought.
Because I didn't even see anything.
She got one of them fancy, cheap folding chairs, man, you know, with wheels on it.
And, man, she folded up like an accordion. She's lucky she didn't hit her head on the tile floor.
The child was holding her head up. And she's like, I'm sitting there, and I'm like, let her head down, but just don't drop it.
You're waiting for that thud on the
tile floor. You see her eyeball jostling her head a little bit.
But it was quite funny because here at Velocity Live, We are now an ambulance service as we came to save the day
boy.
for an elderly lady today.
First aid, Velocity first aid.
Maybe it's like a pay it back thing. We did a good deed. Maybe
Pay
a
it
good
forward,
deed will happen
yeah.
to us. Pay it back. What did I say? Pay it back?
Yeah, I'm paying him back for what? I
I'm
don't
just
know.
more embarrassed that the guard didn't help her. What good is he now for security? He's the same guy that's supposed to protect us in the building.
Listen, I know from being overweight that it's hard to get up when you get fat like that.
She was not 300 pounds.
All right, but she was like 200 pounds, man.
Yes.
And when you're an old lady, even that kind of weight, it's like weighing 400 pounds. You are not getting up. I'm telling you, I got this one couch at home that my uncle and I were laughing about because I've gotten to the point that when I get out of the couch now, I sort of have to roll out of it like I flounder out of the chair.
You're like getting out of my car now, pulling yourself up from the top.
My uncle goes, man, he goes, you better lose weight. And I'm like, yeah. I go, I used to be able to hop up out of this chair when I was younger. I go, now I'm like a fish. I got to roll. I was like a big tortoise rolling out of it, man.
And the thing that worries you when you come up on something like that is like you don't know if this woman's had a stroke, if she had a heart attack. You don't know what's going through your mind. But here at Velocity Live, we spring into action to help our listeners to know.
I've decided that anytime anything goes wrong in my life, I'm just going to pick friends' names. I'm going to use friends. This is my name. I say this way when things go wrong, my friend gets sued, man.
I'm telling you, it was scary because I didn't know what was going on until we got over to her, and she was on the ground crying, and the little kid is more scared than anything.
I think that she was still upset when I patted her on the back, and I was like, "It's all right, don't worry about it."
Yeah, she was crying. She was like, "Yeah, God bless you." She wanted.
At least you're up in the chair, man. I'm just more pissed over the security guard.
Maybe we should report her.
What is that going to do, man?
I
The
don't
guy's
know.
you know why he's a security guard here? Because they paid anybody else to do the job and have to spend more money.
We should go ask him what he makes.
Yeah,
is that wrong?
You making like $5 an hour? Yeah, I make $6.35 minimum wage.
You know what? For people that don't know, I'm just going to say it one more time because I probably didn't do a good job of describing it the first time around. When you walk into this building, we come in through a set of revolving doors. So there's like a big glass atrium there, and the security guy's little desk is right to the right of it, and right next to him is the elevators. And she was right off the elevators on left, and he was watching us.
He was standing there, man.
When I turned around, he ducked back into the little corner.
You know what that is? That's because
he should be ashamed of himself. Whatever that security guard's name is, you should be ashamed of yourself. I'm calling you out right now. You should be ashamed of yourself. You're not helping elderly women.
They probably don't.
You should rot in hell, you rat bastard.
They probably don't allow him to use a TV, so he was watching that like his TV. Invalid TV, man.
That's just and it happened at the worst possible time too, because it was a Saturday and there's not much traffic going in and out of here.
She's lucky. Velocity Live, Amulet First Aid Company, Jose was walking.
We take care of our kids. We takes care of our listeners. So we got blessed today. Hopefully, God will bless us more listeners and. I hope she's doing better because they were all kind of shaken up. So I hope she got out, and I hope they checked that chair for defects. Maybe she could sue the company or something like that.
We're one short now. We're missing somebody today.
Yes, actually. Kerry's on her way back from the city, from what I understand. Now, whether or not she makes it here in time for the rest of the program is beyond me.
I wonder how she got a gig at VH1 or something.
She's actually sitting there supposedly watching a taping of something, but I don't know what VH1 does, and we can ask her when she gets here because I'm running up against a break. But when we come back, we're going to talk a little American Idol news, and we may be 3 instead of 2. Velocity Live returns on the other side of the break.
Hi, this is John Mulaney, and you're listening to the best of Velocity Live on VelocityLive.com.
So here at Velocity, we're all into relationships, and we like to help guys out, especially single ones like myself and John. But it's a fact that women love confidence. Did you know that, John?
Yes, they love it out of us.
Yes, but how can a guy gain this confidence and convey it to women if you don't have it?
I don't know. I've been shot down so many times. I have no confidence, man.
Well, the frame that works best for attracting women, so they say, can be summed up in just 3 simple words. Do you know what those 3 words are?
You got money?
That could be one of them. It never dawned on me. That could be one of them.
I won the lottery? That's
Actually,
4, but...
well, I am poor, I don't think does that. But the 3 words that we're kind of talking about here is it's always on.
What's always on?
Well, to really be successful with women, you must be so confident that anything she says or does is proof that she's attracted to you. So, obviously, your confidence must always be on.
Oh, boy.
So, let me ask you, John, How can you take on this powerful attitude for yourself if you're not that confident?
You know what? 10 to 1, the same attitude will probably make you successful in business if you can master it.
Oh, I think confidence is everything.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? But here are some techniques that you can use to become a more confident guy.
All right.
All right? Become principle-centered instead of validation-centered. Meaning, if you come from a place of honesty, trust, respect, integrity, and loyalty, you'll always be confident because you will always know you're doing the right thing. Agree or disagree?
All right. Sounds good.
I mean,
I can buy into that.
I can too, because if you're not from an honest background, so that would be your first thing to do if you want to get a little bit more confidence. How about prescribe the symptom? Now, this one's a little bit more complicated. All right? It says this technique comes from Milton Erickson. Now, he's a famous therapist and hypnotist. Okay? And it says take control of your shyness by deciding in advance to deliberately be shy when you go out.
Deliberately be
Yes.
shy?
He says this will give you a sense of control over the emotion. I guess because he says you'll find that the next time you go out, you'll be able to control that emotion and be more confident. That's what I was thinking, because, like, if you do go out and you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to be really, really shy when I go out, you can control it. Like, moderate it, regulate it.
Hi, I'm John, and I'm really shy. Don't talk to me. I'm an introvert. Go away.
I really want to touch your boobies, but I don't have the confidence to say that. So, I mean, you don't buy into that? I mean, you're like our resident love aficionado.
I'll tell you one thing. I know what gets you laid is confidence.
And now there's got to be a difference, though, between confidence and cockiness.
Yeah, cockiness is when your ball's out standing there belching to the world how great you are, you know. Usually those are the guys who stink anyways.
So you're not buying Mr. Erickson's belief to
I don't
control
know.
that
I
emotion?
think there's some part of it's got some validity to it, but I don't know.
All right. Here's the third one. Earn confidence through self-knowledge.
Well, I'm very self-aware what goes on in my own pants, but...
Well, it says when you truly understand yourself and what you want out of life and know exactly who you are, it becomes a huge source of confidence. What's your mission in life, basically?
You know, this sounds like the interview with Janet Spindell in some ways, where she talked about how you have to decide that you want to commit to being in this position, and other people read that signal coming off you. And I'm like, well, man, I'm walking around with a neon lamp over me that says, willing to get laid. And nobody sees the exuding of this confidence, you know? So I don't know about that, man, you know?
Well, like I said, I think you really do have to know yourself in order if you're going to go out and search for something.
I think the problem is, I know from personal experience that going back to like the second question there, the second one, that I do it all the time. The minute I walk up to some hot girl in the bar, I've had the whole scenario played out in my mind, but the minute my mouth opens up, it's like this shy little boy comes out and you hear the stuttering,
you have to look no further than the New York Dragons game that we went to when we met Jill Nicolini. Now, you have to understand, I had only known John for a short time, but every time I had known John was like this big, overpowering figure who always had the stories about the women and the this and the that. So... we finally get the opportunity to go to a Dragons game, and I'll give him a plug because he got us season tickets for the whole year. Artie Verdi, who's the equipment manager for the New York Dragons. Good guy. And Jill Nicolini, who used to be in Playboy, if I'm not mistaken.
She was in Playboy,
yes.
yeah.
And she also was on, like, Metro Traffic and Weather.
She did Metro, and she's the weather girl on Channel 11 now.
In the mornings.
On WB.
Yes.
She does the helicopter stuff.
So... this girl was hot, and all we kept saying when we went to games is I used to hear John from the stands going, oh, man, check out Jill Nicolini, man. She's looking good. Look at those breasts. She's R-E-D-I, man, ready.
Her and Dina. You know?
So, yeah, Dina the fire chick. So I worked it out with Artie that we were going to meet Jill.
Yeah.
Jill was going to come meet us. Now, John didn't know that up until the day of the game. So we're sitting at the game. We're about 6 rows from the field, and all of a sudden Jill comes walking up the stairs.
I think what people need to understand here is in Nassau Coliseum,
that's right.
During the Dragons game, I am the loudest person in that building.
Yes.
I mean, you literally over the freaking guys beating the drums, you hear me
Pickles,
screaming.
which is their band. So we get Jill Nicolini to come up and see us. Now, there's about 6 of us going to the game, a bunch of the guys, and she starts walking up the stairs coming towards us. And John starts to tense up. He's sitting in the chair. He starts to tense up a little bit. And now she stops at me and she goes, which one of you guys is Paul? And now John's eyes widen. And I'm like, hey, I'm Paul, what's up? And she goes, oh, Artie sent me over to say hello. He said you wanted to meet me, whatever. So I start introducing the gang. And when I get to John, I go, and this is John Mulaney. And John's like, ugh. Like something comes out in front of this really hot woman.
Dude, she's a pretty spectacular looking girl, man.
Yeah, but you got to play cool.
I tried playing it cool. I didn't stutter. I kept my mouth shut. I was drooling, man.
Yeah, but we thought you were going to really, really.
Dude, I was afraid if I opened my mouth, like Niagara Falls of drool would spill out of me.
Well, it almost did, because we were just like, like a wet rag just went over you.
I'm like, look at her, man.
It was so funny. Then when she walked away, John started yelling and screaming again. It was great. At least you weren't like the guy that we were with that insulted her right away and she took off.
Who, James?
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't know what it was about him. I think it's that, he was probably eating steroids or something.
It's like 2 seconds into her hanging out with us, he's like, oh, man, you're looking hot. And it's just like, okay, now it's a complete turn
Wrong
off.
thing to say, James.
Yeah, and she just takes off. Unbelievable.
The chick's hanging out with guys that are 300 times bigger than us, and you're opening him out like that.
Yeah, so you kind of have to understand who you are and be cool around the ladies, which
John... it's the whole confidence thing. Jill was like, oh, John's weak, not going near him. He's drooling over there.
Just treat them like a regular person. That's Paul Verderosa's attitude.
I tried it. They got me nowhere either, man.
Yeah, but I'm talking about in that situation when you meet somebody like that.
What's sad? I mean, I hate to digress off of this here, but what's really sad is of all my relationships, the only one I regret ever letting the girl go was the one I treated the girl the most like crap, man.
That's an exclusive.
Think about it. I mean,
I don't feel so bad in those kind of relationships.
Everything where you treat them nice and they screw you over, you feel so bad when they're gone. But when you treat them like crap and they're gone, you're like, I don't care, man.
Exactly.
Next,
you're not looking for anything.
There's my confidence. I'm exuding confidence today, man. Next.
All right, and finally, be cool. We were just talking about it. It says people become cool when they're no longer in fear of other people's disapproval. Or, said another way, when you're no longer seeking other people's approval. That's a big deal. That's a very, very big deal. A lot of guys, actually, I wouldn't even say in relationships, just in general, are looking for other people's approval, whether it's parents' approval, whether it's boss's approval, whether it's...
So, I mean, you got to watch the age stuff, too. I mean, I've noticed there's certain girls out there where it's not even about whether you're... confidence helps, but it's almost like the bad boy mentality. Look at the younger generation. They want to bring a bad boy home just to pee daddy off, man. Think about it. Here's my tattooed boyfriend. I mean, she's a pristine little naive girl, and she brings home, like my neighbor. The guy across the street from me, he's a total yuppie. I mean, the original, 80s yuppie family. And he's got 2 little blonde-headed Fairchild girls,
They hot?
Oh, yeah, and they bring home a black guy.
Uh-oh.
And let me tell you something. You should have heard what rolled out of I was like, and I thought I was bad. My neighbor, I'm like, wow, man. The stuff that came, it was like...
people listened to the show earlier. They know you're not that bad. You helped that elderly woman on the ground.
She did it to piss Daddy off. She brought home, it was the whole bad boy. She figured she wanted to piss Daddy off. And I was like, why do they go after guys like that? It's because if you look, a lot of that generation, those guys act really cocky and confident. They all walk around like their S don't stink, man.
Well, the best that we can tell you as we head to break is find your own path in life. Stick to it. Do what's right for you no matter what anyone else has to say. Frig 'em all. Stand tall, you rat bastards. And you're listening to Velocity Live.
And don't fart during sex.
Well, that's...
I tried that once when I was 18. It was a really stupid maneuver, man.
You just couldn't help yourself.
I thought it was like turbo thrust. I was like a retard. I was drunk. And that's about what the girl said. She goes, are you retarded? And I was like, yeah, I am. It was like my freaking Forrest Gump moment in my life, man.
And Velocity Live will return on the other side of the break.
There's a new tough tire on the road. The Brimstone 832 steel-belted radial. It's got 8 surrounded by 3, wrapped in 2, bound by 7, divided by 6. You'll need a calculator to use these tires. We start with a thick piece of black rubber. Then we put in steel belts over which we apply glass fibers and insert metal studs. Then it's dipped in polybendum and baked at over 400 degrees. They smell disgusting. The Brimstone 832 steel-belted radial grips the road, grips the pavement, grips the dirt, grips anything within 6 feet of it. Your wife isn't safe around these tires. If you're going to purchase only one thing made of rubber this year, make sure it's the Brimstone 832 steel-belted radials. Compared to Brimstone, all other tires are just round.
Hi, this is Christina Gray. You're listening to Velocity Live on VelocityLive.com.
Sadness, depression, total angst. We are gathered here this afternoon here on Velocity Live to say farewell to a great contestant and a great woman. My number one pick for American Idol, Kellie Pickler, was unceremoniously eliminated this past Wednesday night, and we're all saddened by that.
Did they do it with at least class this time instead of like how they kicked some of the other past contestants off?
Yeah, they had a little bit more class with Kelly than they've had with others. I mean, we remember the big flap I got into over Stevie Scott. I was very, very upset. But yes, I have lost my number one pick. And actually, if you looked in the Newsday this past week, one person was certain that Kellie Pickler deserved to get voted off American Idol. It was Kelly herself.
Yeah. She knew it was bad.
I mean, how do you know? How do you even come out and even say it? There's one thing about being honest, but I mean, come on. A little honesty is sometimes too much.
It goes back to our discussion that we were having in the earlier part of the show about confidence and exuding confidence, and she obviously didn't exude it because she found herself someplace else other than on American Idol, man.
Kelly said she deserved to get the boot this week. She probably should have gotten it last week, but she's grateful that the fans let her have another week. I am so in mourning.
That's all right. My chick's still in. My pick.
We'll get to your pick in a second, but come on. A little more, Kelly. Come on. You know you love it, John. Voice of an angel. You know you do her.
I think she's a great-looking girl, man. I think she should do Playboy. She'll make a ton of money with that blonde hair.
I think she's a little bit too skinny for Playboy. Playboy likes them with a little meat at least.
Yes, no, airbrush her right up. I could put a 200-pound girl in Playboy. She looks 105 pounds by the time the artists get done with her.
That's actually true. You know, nothing was more scarier than the night she sang Bohemian Rhapsody. Did you ever hear that?
No.
Here's a little...
This is Pickler?
Yes.
This is a bad choice.
Just killed a man, put a gun against his head, pulled my trigger, now he's dead. Mama, life has just begun, and now I'm gonna
rock it out, honey. You got to see her, too. She had on a leather coat, leather pants, and she was wearing black all underneath her eyes.
Do these people have, like, agents that help them pick the music that they should be playing?
They actually get a list that they can choose from. Like this week, when she sang Bohemian Rhapsody, it was the music of Queen.
So somebody on the staff at American Idol picks these songs for them, or...
Well, no, they give them, like, say, Queen, and they pick their song, and then they work with the
so they're given a genre they got to select out of.
Yes.
And they have to, so basically, I mean, she's made some bad. The reason she's gone here is off a bad decision-making process. Then she picked weak songs that she obviously couldn't fulfill the boundaries of.
Well, quite frankly, she was very lifeless singing.
I mean, the picture in
Unchained
Newsday, in Long Island Newsday, she looks totally lifeless. Look at this picture; it's like she's just going through the motions
and
here.
And that's her singing Unchained Melody.
No wonder she's gone.
That's her singing Unchained Melody. Now, one thing that's not on her schedule is Romance, which is good, which means I still have a chance.
Oh, yeah.
Despite the rumors of her making beautiful music with Constantine Maroulis from last season, and then Ace Young.
Yeah, what is the deal with that? She's dating Ace?
Last week. Well, she says, I date Ace now. Ace is a great guy, but no contestant is dating another contestant.
I mean, should I look at American Idol as like the incest network? First Paul Abdul is dating somebody.
Well, she says that's kind of gross because we're all like brothers and sisters, and she still hasn't found her pottery partner yet.
Oh, boy. She wants somebody to spin the wheel with, man.
Speaking of pottery partners, let's not forget that I always have a winner in Miss Carrie Underwood, of course. Last year's winner. I know you're getting so tired of this song.
You don't know how long I have wanted.
Why do you get so annoyed when I play Carrie clips? I can't even talk.
I'm growing bored with her. Too many Reese's Pieces commercials.
Candy never looks sweeter, baby. All right.
I want to see Catherine McPhee in a Reese's Pieces T-shirt.
All right. So we're down to the final 5 now on American Idol. Of course, none of which were in my top 3. And let me just remind you who my top 3 were. I'm not going to lie and be like other radio hosts and create a new top 3 because my picks were taken out. Okay? I picked Lisa Tucker back in the round of 24 to finish 3rd. Lisa finished 10th. I picked Ace Young for 2nd. He finished 7th. And I picked Kellie Pickler to win, she finished 6th. So this is the first time in 3 years I have no one in the finals. Now, 2 years ago I picked Diana DeGarmo. She finished 2nd. Picked Carrie Underwood. She finished 1st. So there's always next season, but I'm a little bit upset. But I don't think it's bad. I mean, you got to give me some credit. All 3 of my picks made the top 10, and I made them back in the round of 24.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's great and dandy, but now we're down to,
We're down to the cream of the crop. We're down to the 5, and I'm going to play you little clips of each of them so you can be the judge for yourself of what you think of them. And, of course, the John Mulaney selection of the year, Katharine McPhee, remains in the competition. And here's a little bit of Katharine.
This is Whitney Houston, right?
Yes.
She's weak on this.
In part, but she's not that bad.
I mean, everybody else has to sing the same genre, material type stuff.
It was classic love songs that week.
So you tell me that when she goes up and she sings a classic love song, the next contestant sings a classic love song also. So it's not like they're fighting out of bandwidth or something. They're doing, all right.
Everybody has to sing the same
because
genre.
I'm totally ignorant at this point of Idol. I don't watch this part of American
What I
Idol.
love, though, about this, and John will agree with me, is don't you love the part, listen to the clip, don't you love the part when the fans get into it?
You think somebody's holding the applause sign
Right there,
up?
you hear them? Yeah. I know that bugs John all the time when we actually do that.
Somebody's got the sign up in the air, applause, applause.
So Katharine McPhee is now, I think, both John and myself, I'm imploring our listeners to get the McFever, go out and vote for Katharine.
I always thought, I watched when,
from the very beginning.
When they got done ripping everybody apart and they started to get down to some talent.
Right.
And I saw her singing. The night she had the blue jeans on, I think it was a beige jacket or a tweed jacket or something. I was like, oh, she's good.
So John and me both say, everybody on Velocity Live, get the McFever, get those votes out there, vote for Katharine McPhee.
Yeah.
Elliot Yamin is still in the competition. Oh, by the way, we still have the Vegas odds and my odds.
Yeah, well, what
was Katharine's, by the way?
McPhee's you got which side here is you and which side is Vegas?
The one on the left is Vegas. And
Vegas got her 9-2 and you had her 4-1.
Okay. All right, so that's Katharine McPhee, so we had them pretty close. Elliot Yamin still continues to walk this competition, which is very, very surprising to me. John will give us the Vegas odds.
He's a big long shot. I mean, either one doesn't matter. He's over 50-1 between both of you.
Well, what did we do? Because I don't remember. You have all the headshots.
They got him at 50-1. You have him listed at 65-1 going on.
Wow.
Man.
And Elliot still remains in this competition.
I mean, I'll put $2 on the guy.
Here's a little bit. You want to do that now? Here's a little bit of Elliot Yamin in case you haven't heard him yet on Idol. Now, I love this song, but not when he sings it.
I find it very hard to believe that somebody actually in this industry would have picked Queen for all of the... Queen is a very tough act to follow,
it's definitely a tough cover band to follow, but you know what? I think that...
I mean, Freddie Mercury was such a diverse singer and had such a wide range that...
I don't think that he did that spectacular of a job, and that's a song that I love. I love that song. I love it in Ella Enchanted, because, I'm a homo and I love those kind of movies. I love Somebody to Love, but not when Elliot Yamin sung it. So Elliot remains in the competition. But
I think he's going to stay at 50-1 and be a long shot.
Yeah, we don't think that Elliot... John is admiring the ladies all day today.
I'm telling you,
a couple of nice-looking chicks walking around CSB today.
I got the big sign on my head that says, I need to get laid.
Chris Daughtry remains in this competition. He is not a fan favorite of mine. I think he's one-dimensional. I think all he can sing is rock, and his family is starting to wear thin on me, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, their family gets involved, too?
Well, they have family and friends that stay with him every week, and now he's got, the wife and the friends and the kid because he doesn't want to go back to the job at Walmart, and, he's very, very one-dimensional. Everything he's sang in a rock alternative version. He even, the week that they had to do songs from the 1950s, took I Walk the Line by Johnny Cash and did the Red Hot Chili Peppers cover of it. Now, I thought that was wrong, and he shouldn't have been allowed to do that, but hey.
I don't like him just in the way he looks.
What did we put down for the odds before I play you a clip?
Vegas has him at 10-1, and you have him at 8-1.
Well, so then I must have had a little respect for him at the beginning of the competition.
To me, he's just a typical, prototypical clone of today. I mean, bald head with a goatee, man.
Wait, I have hair. All right, here's the clip of Chris Daughtry.
Oh, Bon Jovi.
not too bad.
Again, another vocally difficult song to do. I guess Bon Jovi must. You know how many times Bon Jovi must have done punch-ins in the studio to get that part of the song right there. I want it.
Yeah, to get it down pat. So Chris Daughtry is Mr. Alternative, and I'm not a big fan of his, but he still reigns in the competition and might be a fan favorite.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
So they say. And Taylor Hicks still reigns in the competition. The 29-year-old gray-haired
He looks like he's ready to become a school teacher, man.
Who everybody loves. And what was his Vegas odds?
Actually, Vegas was fair to him at 8-1.
What was I?
10-1.
All right. So, I mean, I was agreeing with Vegas a little bit. I mean, I'm keeping some people around that were kind of short prices. And everybody seems to have fallen in love with Taylor because he has a charisma. They say charisma is very important, and Taylor has a charisma and a personality.
He looks like he should be doing the weather on Channel 7 or something, man. I mean, look at him. He's got like, hi, look at me, hi, you know, I'm a Storm Champions replacement in the New York area. You know, I'm his new boyfriend. Yeah.
Well, Sammy getting it all the old poop shoot. All right, here's a little Taylor. John seems impressed.
He sounds like Michael McDonald a little bit from, you know, Dewey Brothers.
All right, so John's impressed with Taylor Hicks. Is he on your short list of candidates besides McPhee now?
There's a possibility. I still like McPhee, man.
Well, you like McPhee because she's the total package.
Listen, if she was 10 years older, I'd ask her out, but...
Well, what about little young and sweet Paris Bennett? She's the fifth and final left in the competition, John.
Paris Bennett?
John's looking through the headshots. I see her from here. She's up there, John. See, I almost put an X through her.
She's okay.
What people don't understand is John's got the headshots that we used on the February show, and it's got the 24.
Oh, this is the 17-year-old, the young one.
Yeah.
She was actually pretty good, I heard.
Well, no, this is the one that on a previous show. Well, now you might have heard that, but on a previous show you said she was going to be pregnant in the streets of Freeport.
Probably. Listen, you know.
That was after you heard her sing Midnight Train to Georgia a few weeks ago.
I heard she's gone.
Now we've got to see. But what I was trying to tell the audience is we have headshots of all the American Idol contestants, and I wrote their Vegas odds and my odds next to them, and I've been Xing them out with big red Sharpie markers when they've been eliminated. And did you see what I wrote over Kelly Pickler's before we finish with Paris?
Yeah. Suicide is about 3 feet away with this one. I'm depressed.
I am. I'm bummed out. You know when you really root for somebody and then they're no longer there? What do you root for? Now I'm rooting for Catherine McPhee, but Paris Bennett, 17 years old, has a family lineage of singers. Ann Nesby was a great jazz black performing artist, is her aunt.
She got a pretty smile for a young girl.
And here's a little bit of Paris, John. Let's see what you think about her since you've been really keyed in today.
Everybody's got the fever. This is something we all know. Fever isn't something new. Fever started long ago.
Hallelujah.
She's good, but still weak. She's not ready to belt out in front of a Baptist church yet, man.
So you're saying it's the Baptist church test? You
know, she's not ready yet. She's still about a year or two away.
I'm impressed, man. John has really toughed this one out. He's become an American Idol aficionado with me, and he knew all the songs too, which was impressive. But now you've heard the 5.
Where's Catherine?
Yeah, baby. John's like a proud father.
She looked good doing this one, man.
And you know what was funny about this? Simon gave her a real hard time. And then he came back the next day and apologized. That made big news.
Well, he apologized to 2 of them. Is that what you're saying? I mean, he apologized to the other one, but she didn't know what a mink was.
Yeah.
They're a minx. No, not a little animal, you freaking minx. You know?
My poor Kelly Pickler. I'm so upset.
Listen, you know what? It doesn't matter. Pickler will still have a career out of this because she's an attractive blonde, even though I think she's a dye job.
Oh, come on.
Listen, her eyebrows. Look at her eyebrows, man. She's got the eyebrows of a brunette boy. If anybody gets the chance to grab a hold of that Newsday to look at that picture, John says it's all in Kelly Pickler's eyes. But I think she's beautiful, and I think she'll make a career out of it in Nashville. But I think she's got collagen. I'm going to tell you right now, her lips look like she's been collagen injected.
John, she lives with her grandfather as a roller skating waitress. She doesn't even know what collagen is, my friend.
Listen, you know what? She made it here, and she's been to Hollywood. You don't know who's gotten near her, man. You know.
On that note, we're going to take a break. We'll be back on the other side of the break. And as we go to break, here's John's love interest, the love of his life, his pick to win American Idol, Catherine McPhee. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Hi, this is Dan Moore, and you're listening to the best of Velocity Live on VelocityLive.com.
Here's the thing, we started out friends. It was cool, but it was all pretend. Yeah, yeah, since you've been gone. You're dedicated, you took the time.
Time to go spanning behind the headlines here on Velocity Live, and we start with the Dog Father. Snoop Dogg was released on bail yesterday after a fracas over access to a first-class lounge at London's Heathrow Airport, in which 7 police officers were injured, his attorney said.
What pissed people off? Did he show up with girls on dog leashes like he did at that one celebrity thing at the Hollywood event?
Well, according to police, let me just go back for a second here. Snoop's been released on bail. He'll return at a later date, and they declined to reveal the amount of money that needed to be posted for Snoop's bail. Now, London's Metropolitan Police said officers responded late Wednesday to reports of a disturbance involving 30 people at British Airways' first-class lounge. When the officers told the group that they wouldn't be allowed to board their flight, a number of the group became abusive and started pushing the officers. So basically this started because some of them were not flying first class.
See, what I heard was...
And they all weren't allowed in the lounge. That's what I had understood.
What I had heard was they weren't flying first class, and his entourage, who was either an economy or whatever,
yes,
all tried barging their way in.
Right. They wanted to get in the lounge.
They
and
figured Snoop was in there,
yes,
that they could be in there.
Exactly.
But they're not Snoop.
No, they're not the Dog Father.
They're not even doggy dogs. They're just dogs.
Nobody can be the Dog Father.
You know?
So the 6 men were arrested on charges of violent disorder and affray, whatever that is.
Now, why did they arrest Snoop? Did Snoop lose his mind because his friends couldn't get involved, or was he taken with them because he was just black in there?
I think he was just because he was like the ringleader of this whole situation. I can't see Snoop being all violent, though. I see him more being about peace than anything else.
Yeah,
I don't know. 7 officers received cuts, bruises, and other minor injuries. Snoop and his party were denied entry into the lounge because some were flying first class while others were flying economy. We just said that. They became very rude and abusive to our staff, and we refused to let them travel, said Richard Goodfellow, who's a spokesman for British Airways.
Before we know, Snoop coming and his friend's son. Kick his ass! Kick his ass!
With his big chain on?
No. I mean, I was watching... The other day I was watching Red Carpet on VH1, and they showed the one where Snoop showed up with the 2 girls on the dog leashes. I'm like, that's what you got to do, man.
I'm telling you. I could see Snoop doing that. I'd be looking for an autograph.
So I figured when I heard all this crap that went down to Heathrow, whatever airport he was at, I was like, oh, tell me he showed up with people on dog leashes again.
No, it wasn't dog leashes. It was just him and his entourage got a little bit ornery inside London's Heathrow Airport.
Yep.
So John keeps eyeing this girl who's walking by the studio.
She's kind of cute, man. A little heavy, but cute.
Maybe we should get her in here.
She's leaving. She had her bags all packed. You know.
We missed the opportunity.
Honey, you want to come in and hold hands with us?
Damn, we missed the opportunity. Cute girl. Very cute girl. I wish I knew her name.
No, she'll hear the show and she can come back and talk to us at Velocity Live.
I think it was Corinne. I think her name was Corinne. I think I saw that on the little sticker on the side of her.
We'll have to scour the pictures out in that lobby, you know.
I think her name is Corinne. So, Corinne, if you ever listen, you can come and sit on John's lap, something.
Yeah.
Anyway, a star of the off-Broadway play Entertaining Mr. Sloan has quit the production, apparently, incensed at the behavior of co-star Alec Baldwin. Jan Maxwell, a stage veteran who recently appeared in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, I love that name.
She did the right thing, though, man.
Left the Roundabout Theater Company show Sunday 5 weeks before its scheduled close, a spokesman confirms. Why did she do the right thing before I continue?
She gave 3 weeks notice, and she gave actual legitimate reason. Listen, he's obtrusive to life. I can imagine working with the guy.
Well, its published report said Maxwell had sent an email to a friend saying that Baldwin created an unhealthy and oppressive situation. Oppressive like the heat in here. And that he punched a wall because he was angry that the air conditioning on the set was not hot enough. How ironic.
Because he's overweight and he's probably sweating like a pig on stage, man.
Wow.
I mean, when I read that and I saw it on one of the RSS feeds on some forum I was on, I was like, good for her, man.
A show spokesman said that Maxwell gave her 3 weeks' notice, required by her contract early last week, and refused a request to stay through May 21st.
She did the right thing because she's smart enough not to burn her career over that guy, man.
Mr. Baldwin has been totally professional in all dealings with the company and management throughout the engagement of Entertaining Mr. Sloan, and we're delighted to have him in the show, the statement said that was released by the company. Maxwell was replaced Tuesday by her understudy, and she'll be replaced like that until the closing.
They don't want to have him as an enemy. They're gonna, she's a nobody if you look in the actual.
Yeah.
So I mean, all she can do is just say, "Listen, these are my reasons. Hopefully, they're fair. I'm giving my notice. I'm out of here, and I'm going to walk away."
Well, Baldwin did not return a call seeking comment through his agent, but the actor acknowledged to the New York Times that he did punch the wall out of frustration over the temperature on the set, which he did say was causing his eyeglasses to fog up. I can appreciate, though, the heat comment, because I am not a heat person. Neither are you. With Rosie O'Donnell as its newest co-host, The View brings a 6-time Daytime Emmy winner onto the cast that has made a joke out of its inability to win an Emmy.
I saw her in the paper with Orca. Is that what this is about? There was something in today's paper with her and Orca. They were crying together.
Oh, God, were they?
Yeah, it was in today's Newsday, Long Island Newsday.
The View creator Barbara Walters confirmed Friday that O'Donnell will join her show in September, replacing the Today Show-bound Meredith Vieira. Walters made the announcement from the stage of the Daytime Emmy Awards. "We were amazed when she said yes, and we're thrilled to have her," Walters said. It wasn't quite the secret that Walters wanted, since word of O'Donnell's selection leaked out on Thursday. So.
Yeah, and Rosie's not really a fan favorite with a lot of people now. I mean, she upset a lot of people with that booze cruise to Gatum, whatever the hell was going on there.
I saw that.
Was
that Rosie's Family Cruise thing that was on HBO?
It was all only gay people were allowed on. It was a totally freaking discriminatory act, man. I don't care. Oh, look, we're gay. No, you wouldn't allow anybody who was non-gay onto the cruise. It was a total freak fetish as far as I'm concerned, man.
The View got a bigger star here than it imagined to replace Vieira, according to the report. It says, which often serves as the emotional center of an ensemble that also includes Joy Behar, Star Jones, and Elizabeth Hasselbeck. And now they actually listed Joy Behar as a comic. She's not a comic.
I see Terry Hatcher made the news also. Did you see that?
Yes, with the light bulb explosion.
Yeah.
We talked about that actually on Velocity Live After Hours. We talked about the light bulb exploding on the set of Desperate Housewives. She needed to wear an eye patch.
Oh, man.
Over her eye.
That's God punishing her, man, because she's been pulling a lot of crap, man.
Could you imagine that?
That sucks.
Could you imagine that, you're standing there and the light bulb explodes in your face? Something here John might appreciate. LIPA will hold its rate steady this year despite a rise in oil prices, Richard Kessel said yesterday. Now, LIPA, by the way, is the Long Island Power Authority, and it's here for you listeners on Long Island, but we figured we would report that.
They're going to use this to get their windmill farm built off the shoreline here. You know that.
A windmill farm?
Yeah, they're going to put in 50, 300-foot-tall windmills about 10 miles offshore.
Really?
Yeah, to generate power instead of using oil and diesel fuels to generate electricity.
Well, you'll be glad to know that the statement comes after months of controversy over surcharges on LIPA bills, which critics, including Mr. Mullaney, which he said on this program, say circumvent requirements for regulatory approval to implement rate hikes. So John's paying too much money out here.
We all are. We're paying too much money for Cablevision. We're paying too much money for LIPA.
You're paying too much money for gas.
You know what? That's gas is something that you can control yourself. Most people just don't want to take care of it.
Is that right?
Just don't buy it. You want to stop driving everywhere. You want to control the oil industry, stop buying gas. You want to control Cablevision, just don't turn the TV on and don't pay your cable bill. And in 6 months, Cablevision's out of business.
That's never going to happen. Nowhere.
People won't do it. You know how easy it is for the average, really, you can make ethanol in your garage. It would probably take you about 6 months to get enough organic material put together from off your kitchen table. But once you got to a certain point, your weekly organic material on your table would produce enough ethanol every week for you to get around in your car.
I think we should start doing that.
And they say it's not dangerous. You can actually make ethanol in your garage, and it's not dangerous.
I think we've got a new segment, Ethanol in You.
Listen, so what? So your car smells like corn oil when it's going down the block. Where's the French fries, honey?
You can throw something in there.
I mean, you think about it. You can cook French fries in the gas tank and run the car on it.
There you go, right? Several of our friends would be really happy about that. They could belly up to the buffet while they're driving.
Yeah, I got my fryer later.
While Angelina Jolie tops People's Most Beautiful issue, Jennifer Lopez graces the cover of magazine Spanish-language version. Lopez is on the cover because she is the #1 of the 50 most beautiful people on that issue. I've never tried to hide the fact that I'm Latino, the Bronx native, tells the magazine. I think that's why Hispanics are like, she's ours, she belongs to us, and that's true.
Does she still have the ring that Ben Affleck gave her?
She might. The actress singer, imagine if she does, that would be funny.
I mean, he spent $4 million, $5 million, whatever was in that ring.
She took that to the local pawn shop to prove she was Latino.
Yeah, he's gone.
The actress singer was also named as one of People's 100 Most Beautiful People. And while many fans await the birth of Jolie's child with boyfriend Brad Pitt, Lopez isn't currently planning to have a baby with her husband, Mark
It'd be great
Anthony.
if Jolie's baby came out and it wasn't in Brad Pitt's.
Well, who's it
They would have to
supposed
go. They would have to go on Maury Povich to find out.
The paternity test. Could you imagine Maury
And
Povich having...
Brad, you are not the father.
That would be nice for sure, she says. I feel that it will happen naturally when it does.
She's still here.
Oh, the girl's still here?
Yeah.
Really?
Welcome to the Velocity Live conversation.
You want her to come in? I'll go get her. That would be funny. She could come and sit down and hold your hand through the rest of the news.
Yeah.
My co-host was admiring you through the rest of the news. All right, and finally, if I can turn the page, what do you buy into about this flap with the national anthem being sung in Spanish?
Listen, that is out of control.
All right. Well, for those who don't know, British music producer Adam Kidron says that when he came up with the idea of a Spanish-language version of the U.S. national anthem, he saw it as an ode to the millions of immigrants seeking a better life. But this week, since Kidron announced the song, which features such artists as Wyclef Jean, Pitbull, who's a hip-hop R&B guy, and Puerto Rican singers Carlos Ponce and Olga Tanan, it has been the target of fierce backlash from everybody, including the president. Did you see President Bush the other day?
Bush is absolutely right, man.
He came clean on the air and said, learn English.
Yep. You understand, we're a non-political show, and thank God, because really I have a soapbox that's about 1,000 feet tall for this one, man.
Uh-oh.
This undermines everything that we've done in this country, that we've established from the day we built this country. We're allowing to fall apart with this. Especially, this is the latest kick, man.
Well, the initial version of Nuestro Himno, our anthem,
Nuestro Himno,
comes out on Friday.
I'm gonna write one for Mexico called Caca.
And what? And uses lyrics based closely on the English language original. And it's on the record label Urban Box Office.
Francis Scott Key right now is rolling in his grave.
Now,
man.
pro-immigration protests are planned for around the country on Monday, and the record label is urging Hispanic radio stations nationwide to play the cut at 7 p.m. in a sign of solidarity.
You know, can you imagine the Rockets red glare? Rockito red boom.
Now, a remix. They're already talking remix, because you know they have to dance to it.
Yeah, get the dance mix, the radio mix, the AM edit, the FM edit.
A remix to be released in June will contain several lines in English that condemn U.S. immigration laws. So now they're also going to pick on the immigration laws. So this became now, we're talking the national anthem, to now picking on American.
You notice that how these people come here, get a lot of freebies thrown to them, and then have the balls to bitch to us?
Listen to some of the lines that are coming out of this song, because I have some of the lines. Among the lines you'll hear in the remixed version, these kids have no parents because all the mean laws.
What do we got to do with their parents being killed?
These kids have no parents because all of these mean laws. That's the line. And let's not start a war with all these hard workers. They can't help where they were born.
Wow, and I thought Ebonics
I'm
was bad.
smelling a LimeWire download here in June.
I thought Ebonics was bad in the classroom. This is even worse, man.
Now, according to Brianna Bevins, who's out of Hanford, California, she writes for the immigration-focused web magazine VDare.com. She said the remix does particularly upset her. She said it's very whiny. If you want to say all those things, by all means, put them on your poster board, but don't put them in our national anthem.
Yep.
And I have to agree. I think a plane's crashing into the building. Did you hear that? You know, strange things happen when you're live on the show and we tape from here. First you have the heat. Then you've got a good-looking girl walking back.
They always come in and tell us that we've got to be quiet, but we're never loud in here.
I know.
Don't you enjoy that? We always hear everybody else.
And I don't want this edited. This is staying as is. I don't want this portion edited. But I'm being... John's completely right. You've got the heat. I feel like I'm in downtown Manila. You've got people who can't work the tape decks because they're blasting stuff. And then you got a hot girl who's walking around.
Can we work like anything about CSB into this new wave, whatever the hell it is?
Can we write our own anthem? Can we write our own anthem? Maybe we have to write one called our anthem as well.
I blame this on California,
By the way, according to Kidron, very quickly, there's no attempt to usurp anything. The intent is to communicate, he says. I want to show my thanks to these people who buy my records and listen to the music we release and do the jobs I don't want to do.
What does he got, like the IQ of a sponge? What do you mean usurp anything? I mean, it is all about usurping everything. Basically, you're rewriting the Star-Spangled Banner, the national anthem of America, and you're attacking us on it.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Nick Riviera.
And he makes a point to say that he's been a U.S. resident for 16 years, and he maintains that the changes are fitting, this Kidron, who's the British music producer. He says that, after all, he notes, American immigrants borrowed the melody of the Star-Spangled Banner from an English drinking song.
How does he know? Was he there? Was he going across Valley Forge with Francis Scott Key?
John's got to say, she walked by again, ladies and gentlemen.
I stuttered on her, man.
John's got to. We're going to get her in here. I think we're going to get her in here. Let's just quickly touch on what the artists are saying. Pitbull, whose real name is Armando Perez, said this country, there's an American
Pitbull.
name, said this country was built by immigrants, and the meaning of the American dream is in that record. Struggle, freedom, opportunity, everything they are trying to shut us down on.
Yeah, but you know what? There's nowhere in the Constitution of this country or the founding fathers that gave them the right to tear this country down like they're doing. You know, think about it. You know what? These foreigners come here and you tear this country down and then you scream about it. And that's the truth.
I'm almost thinking that I'm waiting for Edward James Olmos to be in this.
I'd like to kick his ass too, man.
We're going to calm John down. In the meantime, continue listening to us here on Velocity Live. Have a good afternoon and enjoy the Star Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched was so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh,